Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, or Almighty Allah, the entirely merciful and the specially merciful. Dear viewers across the globe, I greet you with the greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome you to this program. I welcome you to share with me some of the treasures that we are going to get from. We are not going to fight, by the way. You can take as all of them as I am going to take all of them. They are going not to be affected by our greediness. Still, I am greedy with gold. I love it. I love to take as many gold as I can, and I wish that you have the same thing. But the gold that I'm talking about is not real gold. It's something more precious than gold. What is more precious than gold are the words of Almighty Allah. We are going to learn from the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No other source that carries the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except the Holy Quran. So we are lucky to have the exact words of Allah, the verbatim. We have it is available and it exists amongst us. And we are luckier than millions of people who are deprived of this. Until this moment, many people on this planet, they are deprived of accessing the real words of Allah, the exact words of Almighty Allah. So they are deprived from the truth. And they spend their effort, they spend their time, they spend their money trying to access but false sources, They may access false sources. But the real sources are only in these two ones. You already know them by now. They are directly the Quran, the exact words of Allah, and the Sunnah, the tradition of our beloved Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, because they carry the words of Allah, but the words of Muhammad said by our beloved Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. But they are wahi, they are revelation. Remember the verse that we just taught. إِنَّمَا أَنَا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُكُمْ يُوحَى إِلَيْهِ. I am a human being like you, but there is a revelation that comes. So whatever comes to Muhammad as a revelation, we take it. Other things would not be the revelation. It will be some people who are saying something that's not authentic about Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Therefore, we have to be very cautious and very selective. And who guides us? Someone would raise this question and would say that I don't have the ability to filter what I read from other people. I am not qualified. I am not qualified as well. And many other people may not be qualified. But we have the guidelines. And the guidelines are given to us by Almighty Allah, out of His mercy, out of His love to His humans, to His creatures that He created, that He honored these creatures by this science, by this kind of knowledge. What is the nature of this knowledge? It is said in many cultures. It is known in many cultures. But it is very specifically said in the Quran. In many cultures, we have this common statement. When in doubt, leave it out. When in doubt, leave it out. The statement in Islam takes another form. First, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and this is mentioned in this chapter number 16, ayah number 48. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. It's a very short verse. فاسألوا أهل الذكر إن كنتم لا تعلمون. meaning ask the people of ذكر أهل الذكر فاسألوا أهل الذكر. In our language today, ask the people of expertise, ask the experts, ask the very specialized people, not ask anyone. إن كنتم لا تعلمون, if you don't know. In other words, if you don't know the exact knowledge, if you don't know the exact answer, as the example that I mentioned in the beginning of this episode, that I cannot select, I cannot identify. If somebody would mention a statement to me and he would say that this is a verse from the Quran, I said, what? Okay, give me the source, give me the ayah number and the chapter that it came in. If he said that I don't recall now, you become in doubt. You don't take it. Absolutely you don't take it. Whoever he is, you take the quote, you write it down, or you memorize it, you preserve it in any means, or you record it, and then you take it and immediately make some search. Making some search. So this Islam, you see, this religion is a fantastic religion. It's based on science. You make scientific search. You make research. That's why it's very important to train our children, to train the new generations to make research, to become researchers, even if they are young. At their own level, 5 years, we can ask them to do little research. Can you check out if this ayah is mentioned in the Quran or not? Would you please find another source for it? We can train them day after day, month after month. We are bringing them up as researchers. Everybody can do this. Are you saying that Muslims should be researchers? This is the main thing that we should do. Before they become engineers, they do this research. Before they become effective teachers, they should be trained to make research. There is no job or no task nowadays that you can excel in without being a researcher. Not just a researcher. I would say that the more skillful you are, the better researcher, the better expert you become. I wish the parents would give me an ear, a listening ear to this. This is how you bring up your kids to be researchers in all areas so that they would be able to identify which is the true statement and which is a false statement, which is a true fact and which is a false fact, which is the truth, which is the falsehood, this is one of our goals, one of the high goals that we should train our kids to know. As we mentioned in a previous episode that said that we gave you some ayat in the Quran that would help you identify the liars, the false liars, and the truthful humans that are saying the truth. Not every statement that is taught to you is true or is accurate. If it needs accuracy, if the teacher did not do his job well, you can complete his job. You can help him do his job. Because we are humans, we err, we make mistakes. But collectively, we should guarantee that this method that we are using guarantees that we have authentic knowledge. Because depending on the nature of knowledge that we are talking about, we can build up our theories and our skeleton of knowledge and our researches and our everything that we need in life. In fact, we need it as we need air and we need oxygen in our life. We need scholars, authentic scholars in our life, as we need oxygen and as we need water in our life. They are essential. They are the basics of our life. And this guarantees that people do not deviate as long as they go back to the authentic knowledge of these authentic scholars. It is something very important in our life. And this is again ayah number, I'll repeat it again, ayah number 48, chapter number 16. فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. In other words, if you don't know, if you don't have authentic knowledge yourself, if you are not qualified to identify which one is more accurate than others, so you need all the time to consult with those people of knowledge, to consult with scholars. Don't go to a person who is not specialized in this area and ask him or ask her. No. Say that I go back to my father and ask him. It's not necessarily that your father knows everything. Going back to your father as a reference, it can be as initial reference, yes. He, your father or your mother, may guide you to go to another higher step of research. You will say it, okay, let's consult with the books that you have. And if they don't find the right answer, they will tell you that, oh, let's go to Google. And there are some websites that we can write down the questions and we direct them to the right scholars. And we know by experience, if you don't know, ask the people who know. All the time, ask the people who know. فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ. All the time, أهل الذِّكْرِ, the people of expertise, the people of knowledge. أهل الذِّكْرِ, that means the people who are expert in الذِّكْر. And الذِّكْر we mentioned earlier in other episodes that is the Quran and the Sunnah. So now we know that Ahl al-Dhikri refers to the people who are expert, who have expertise in al-Dhikr. And we know al-Dhikr, that it is the Quran and the Sunnah. Now, you are qualified to make research, and you are after getting these answers from the people of expertise, the better. And the more expertise they have, the better you consult them. If you know that this scholar is more experienced than the other scholars, so go to this scholar. And so on and so forth. And I think they have done a good job now, to some extent, to an extent or another. There are websites that are very well trusted, we know, and only we accept from those scholars who usually, and by default, they use this. They all the time give you the reference. If it is a verse in the Quran or a verse in the Hadith or the Sunnah of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they all the time, whenever they say something, they say the reference to it. Without reference, this is something we need to teach our new generations, our children, our students, our community members, the people who live in the whole family. In this way, we raise the level of knowledge and we raise the level of awareness among the Muslims. And we prepare them for the first step that they can be researchers. In any field, they need to have access to the people of knowledge, Ahl al-Dhikr. If it is an Islamic question, the people of their references is always the scholars, the authentic scholars who give them the references all the time. If they have equal quotes from here and there, they make a further step to go to the people who have more excellent knowledge until they reach the most authentic ones. Once they get it there, they take it, they adopt it, and they implement it in their lives. And the more qualified people we have in these issues, the more advanced we will become. Trust me, this is what scholars usually say. They themselves, they will ask you. They will give you the answers, and then they will refer you to another source of knowledge or another source of knowledge, and we'd keep this. So all our life, we are going to spend doing this act of research. Without it, we are weak in some points. We are in need of those scholars, and alhamdulillah, we have many of them who are qualified. Yet, we need to prepare the new generations to have more and more and more scholars in different areas, but on the top of these areas, about the most important thing in our life, which is the Quran and the Sunnah. This is exactly what this ayah means. فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. In case you are not aware, you don't know, that's what's said in English. When in doubt, leave it out. We say, leave it out until, instead, don't leave it out, don't leave it. No. In Islam, we put it in a more scientific context, saying no, go to the ones who have knowledge and authentic knowledge, and this way we guarantee that all the knowledge that we have in our minds are filtered. If they are not filtered today or in this school, we can filter it in another day, or whenever we ask another scholar who have more expertise. This is the way that we should graduate and train the new generations to excel in. And we do thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the entire Quran and for giving us an ayah like this. فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.